shame on them. As deeply as I can possibly say that, shame on them. Hey YouTube fam, welcome to the Jonathan Dearman Show, and today guys, a totally non-political video. I know, it's crazy, right? In case you didn't know though, the slogan of this YouTube channel is actually life, politics, and fun, and so we like to do a little bit of each of them, but today's video is definitely in the life category, not in the politics category. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch a video together of somebody that has what's called Treacher Collins syndrome, and forgive me if I mispronounce that, but it's basically this guy's story of what it was like growing up with this condition and some of the trials that he went through, some of the hardships that he went through, and how he overcame those, how he was able to be successful despite those. It's really encouraging, and especially in a time like we're in with the pandemic and everything going on. And I think it's important to have moments like this to be encouraged and to hear stories of people that overcome the situations that they're in. And the second reason is it does remind us to have some gratitude. No matter what we're going through, there are always people that are going through things as tough or even tougher. And so it's a great reminder for us to have gratitude for what we do have, and hopefully give some hope even to people that are going through a really tough situation. Because quite honestly, and I only watched some of this video and then I stopped it because I wanted to watch it with you guys, but quite honestly, from what I did see, this guy is just amazing. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in the video and let's watch it together.
My condition is Treacher Collins. It's something that I was born with. I wasn't born with any cheekbones, so that's why my eyes appear the way they do. I wasn't born with all the parts of my ear, so I've got I call them my little Bart Simpson ears. It's also affected my jaw, so my jaw's a little receded. When I was born, my birth parents decided that they needed to go their way and I needed to go my way.
First of all, what a kind-hearted man. Basically phrased that as saying that they decided to go their way and they decided for me to go my way. What a kind-hearted man to phrase it in that way, because the reality is his parents abandoned him at birth, probably because of the condition that he had. I mean, as a parent of 3 small children, that just angers me beyond belief, guys. That absolutely drives me crazy when I hear stories about this. What a precious young baby this guy was, you know, however 30 years ago or however long ago, and his parents decided that they didn't want to go down that route, right? And a lot of people, by the way, phrase it in that way, like parents are deciding that they just decided it wasn't for them. No, take responsibility for your children. Parents, if you have a child, especially, listen, if they have a condition or something seriously that they're going through in their life, all the more they need you, parents. All the more they need you. Hopefully there's restoration that happened here. And parents, there's always a chance, you know, for you, if you've messed up in your life or as a parent with you, you know, the best thing you can do is pick up where you are and do the best you can from this point moving forward. But take ownership, parents. My goodness.
My adoption report says that Jonathan Lancaster was born on the 31st of the 10th, 1984. Both parents were horrified by the child's appearance. Both parents felt no maternal bond. Both parents left the hospital 36 hours later, leaving the child behind.
Wow. I'm disgusted. The report said that they were disgusted by what they saw. I'm disgusted by them. That is, oh my goodness. I can't even, I would ramble all day today if I kept going on that one.
And those words, you know, it's something that's obviously stuck with me, and they cut deep. At the age of 5, on the 18th of May 1990, I was adopted by an incredible woman called Jean. She never shied away from a conversation, even the difficult ones about my face and my birth parents. And yeah, she just gave me this incredible foundation, this incredible love for me to live. I was totally unaware how cruel people could be. I started noticing people, groups of people, you know, one would see me and they would second look me, and then they would nudge their friends, the people that they were with. They would point, they all would look, some would laugh, some would just stare.
Okay, people don't do that. Okay, if you see somebody that looks different than you do or looks like they have some sort of condition, he's saying some people are laughing at him. Those people are just absolute bullies. They need to be... I'm trying not to get too intense here, guys, but this kind of stuff bothers me when I hear this kind of stuff. But then you said some people were staring. My guess is some people that were staring, that they don't have a bad heart. You know, it's new for them to see, and so they're trying to, maybe some people are even looking with compassion. Don't stare, guys. Just don't stare. Don't nudge the people around you and point. People aren't dumb. They notice those kind of things. Don't do that.
The kids would always pull their eyes down. And that's something that I often thought about. And so I started to look in the mirror as a child, and I always used to push my eyes up to try and make it look like everybody else's. You know, I thought that was the answer to everything. Girls would ask me out as a dare or as a joke, and I never really I never experienced any form of dating.
Parents, please, okay, please don't let your kids be bullies at school. Okay, kids are so oftentimes cruel to other people. It's honestly not as much on the kids as it is the parents. And of course, listen, sometimes the kids are in terrible living situations. I get it. Some of them are in the foster care system and aren't plugged in with the solid family. So there's compassion there too. But parents, those of you that are parents and you find out your kid is being a bully or is being rude, don't be that parent that just always defends your kid no matter what. Let your kid know when they're missing it and cut that junk out with them, period.
That snowballed into thoughts of, I'm never going to be intimate with anybody. I'm never going to have a family. I'm never going to experience love because I look like this. If I had a face like yours, if I had eyes like yours, I'd be happy. By the time I was a teenager, I hated my face. And I didn't want a surgery to improve my face. I wanted the surgery to have a new face. 16, 17, 18, I discovered alcohol. I never thought about, I'm going to take my own life, but I wanted to be in a car accident. I wanted to, as horrible as it sounds, I wanted an illness to take me out of this life. And even saying that, I kind of feel guilty.
This guy does not need to feel guilty for what he's saying. This guy is an absolute champ. Can I just say that? This guy is an absolute champ. I love this guy already. I really do.
I did have incredible friends, and one of my friends got me a job working in a bar. My first night at work, it must have lasted an hour. I heard everybody talking, I heard everybody laughing, and instead of serving people, I started to hide away, got a taxi and went home. My friend pushed it and made me go back, and I did. And then a girl called Beth started working in the bar, and I got butterflies every time I saw Beth. One night she came up to me and she was like, "Jano, do you fancy going out for a drink sometime?" And so I just casually was like, "Yeah, if we're all going out for a drink, you should join us." And she was like, "No, just me and you." And in that moment, I proper wanted to play it cool, but I was like so giddy and so excited. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm free tomorrow. In fact, I'm free Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When do you want to make this happen?" And she was just like, "Let's hang out tomorrow." Every thought was just running through my head. Does she want to ask one of my friends out? Am I the way in? Is it just a friendship thing? Is she even going to turn up? Why? I questioned her motives, but she did. She turned up, and it was great. I was like, this is the best day ever. And then all of a sudden, Beth went quiet, and she puts down a glass of wine, and she started to get uncomfortable. And when people get uncomfortable with their words around me, I know that they're going to ask me something about my face or my appearance. Straight away I'm thinking, oh, this isn't a date, this isn't cool, this isn't sexy, I've got this wrong. So I'm thinking it's my time to go. It's my time to leave. And Beth's just looking at me, and she sees me looking at the floor.
Man, I can't imagine. Can you imagine in every situation you're in having to deal with this layer that I feel like we do not have to deal with, a certain layer of feeling like, in a lot of ways, like when we're walking around, like people are staring at us all the time. And even like he said, he was questioning her motives. Particularly, he's saying he was questioning because of the condition that he has, that he was questioning if she was just maybe feeling bad for him, wanted to be a friend, or trying to get to one of his buddies or whatever. And I just feel like this is something that we all take for granted, that we don't have to deal with these kind of things that he's had to go through. And for him to just push through is just, it's so inspiring. It really is.
And she's trying to get eye contact with me. And she's like, Jono, I find myself staring at you all the time. And again, I hate being stared at. And I found that quite insulting in that moment. And she's like, I find myself staring at you all the time. And she leans in and she kisses me, and she comes back and she's like, I just love your face, innit? And she was just so casual about it. But to me, that moment, as casual as it was for her, I went from feeling ugly to thinking I'm like the sexiest guy in the world. I'm like David Beckham, Brad Pitt, all rolled into one. This was huge for me. It was my first healthy relationship. I didn't need sex to make me happy. I didn't need alcohol to make me happy. I didn't need a filter on my phone to make me happy. I didn't need to push my eyes up to make me happy. It was really looking at who I was as a whole and discovering things that I loved about myself.
Man, there's so much to learn from this guy.
Parents, did you ever try and make contact with them again?
I always wanted to ask them questions. I always wanted to know why. There were so many things I wanted to say and share with them. And then in my darkest days, I wanted to hurt them as much as I was hurting too. So when I'm 24, 25, I'd reached the point where I wanted to reach out to my birth parents. I want to let them know that are okay, and if they're open to meet me, then that would be incredible. So we shared that with them through a letter. A week or so later, we got a letter back, very clear regarding this subject. We do not wish any contact. Further attempts will be ignored.
Oh my gosh.
They both signed it, and that was it. I cried and felt rejected all over again.
So frustrating. Guys, parents, step it the heck up, please. You have a responsibility as parents. Okay, you don't get to just go, I mean, the narrative of the day, right, is just follow your heart, right? Whatever your heart leads you to do. Well, if your heart leads you to go pursue a career, well, there's a child with Treacher Collins syndrome that needs you. Do not follow your heart. Do what is right. Be a parent, for goodness sake. And the selfishness of his parents that, I mean, I'm hoping in this moment, I'm hoping as I'm hearing that he reached back out, that maybe, maybe that after all these years, 24, 25 years, maybe they feel bad and they feel guilty or sorry. But for them to respond and he's the one reaching out to them, I mean, they should be pursuing him, but he's reaching out to them. And for them to respond by saying, we don't want any contact, please don't contact again, just absolutely disgusts me. I mean, my goodness, I seriously, I don't wish any harm towards the parents, but shame on them. As deeply as I can possibly say that, shame on them for not only for maybe there's some sort of explanation that maybe they were just so young and they were scared when he was born, and even still, that's ridiculous. But maybe if years later, if they would be kind and sorry for what they did, but for them years later to still be hardened and to say, we don't want any contact with you, please don't contact again, just disgusts me. I mean, that is just so terrible. They have no idea how genuinely beautiful of a human being their son is, and their son is just an incredible guy, and they'll never get to have that opportunity because they don't want to meet him, because they don't want to have to deal with the fact that it probably doesn't feel good to interact with somebody that they abandoned. Boo-hoo. take responsibility as parents. My goodness. Jeez Louise.
But again, thinking about my birth parents, you know, they made that decision all them years ago, and they've decided to stick by that. They've done what they felt was best for them, and I respect that. And at the end of the day, I will always come back to those two human beings gave me life. And for that I am forever
This guy is so
grateful.
nice. They did what they felt was best for them, and you respect that. You're so kind for respecting that, and I respect you for the kindness you have towards your birth parents. I'm going to say it for you. I do not respect that. You wanted to do what was best for you, you parents, and you left your child that needed you desperately, and you left him. I do not respect that. I don't care what your reasoning is. You're trying to be the best version of yourself. You're trying to pursue your own dreams. You're trying to follow your own heart. I don't give a rip about any of that. You left your child. You abandoned your son, and then years later when he reached back out to you, you told him you don't want any contact with him. You stuck by that decision. I do not respect that at all. The fact that this guy, I think his name's Jonathan actually, the fact that Jonathan has such a kind heart that he talks about his birth parents in that way makes me all the more want to, on his behalf, drive over there and give him a good talking to. No violence. A good talking to, though, because, man, you guys know where I stand on this. And, yeah.
Every milestone that I have in life, I tend to think about them. But I guess the ultimate thing that I want to share with my birth parents is that I am happy and I'm okay and I'm healthy. And I hope you are too.
And what's the future for you?
I used to think that my face would prevent me from finding work, would prevent me from finding friendships and love, but it's not about my face. That wouldn't prevent me from finding any of those things. I'm learning more things that I love about myself, and as I've done that, more opportunities have opened and presented themselves to me. I've discovered more relationships, friendships. I've made truer, deeper connections. And then now in my 30s, we don't have any conversations about surgeries on my face because I love my face and I don't want to change it at all.
Man, we can learn a thing or two from this guy. Right. And here's this guy who, I mean, just even hearing him talk about his parents and saying, you know, at the end of the day, they did give me my life that I had, and they gave me that. And for that, I'm very thankful. And I wish them the best. I wish them to be happy and healthy. I'm happy and healthy. I mean, it's so important for us to hear these kind of stories because, man, that'll check you. If you're ungrateful, or if you're, you know, refusing to forgive certain people, someone like him is an inspiration on how to do it and how to do it well. And so hats off to this guy. I genuinely would love to hang out with him. He just seems like a great guy. Overall, I respect him deeply. I think that it would be a better world if everybody watched that video and heard that guy's story, because it's inspirational. It's a reminder to be grateful. And if he can forgive his parents, we can forgive the people around us and move forward and do the best that we can in the scenario that we're in. And so anyway, with all of that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you guys at the next Jonathan Dearman show. Peace out.